And we're away. G'day, Lennon.
G'day, Spenno.
How you doing, mate?
Good, mate.
Awesome. I want to get started off with you right now. Where are you at right now, and how's your training going, and what's the next run that you're thinking about doing?
So I've been in a fairly heavy training load at the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, taking on the 4-week challenge as well and eating sort of better again. So I'm feeling pretty good, actually, cutting out some of the junk again.
Yeah.
Starting to feel pretty good and not missing it too much, so that's pretty good.
Nice.
But next race is probably Buffalo Stampede 75k in April, so down at Bright in Victoria. So,
nice, that's a good one, eh?
and then that'll lead into the Ultra Trail Australia 100k up in the Blue Mountains in May.
Very good. So do you feel like that cutting out the junk food is making you run better, or how do you think? Has it affected your running, or is it?
No, it hasn't affected my running.
Yep.
My energy levels are still good, so obviously I've replaced the bad food with better foods, so I'm still getting enough calorie intake and enough natural sugars and stuff like that to keep the energy levels up.
Good.
So hopefully I'll continue on this curve after the 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
on the journey.
Very easy to slip back into old habits. So
yeah, definitely. So I remember you telling me once that you don't really race so much. Do you know what I mean? So I know that you go out, you run just because you love running.
Yeah.
But you do take races, hey? So
yes, I do race. So I do like to compete, but like 90% of my running would be focused on training. So I only do a couple of key races a year that are actual races that I want to race. So some races I'll go in that are a race, but I'm just doing that as a training run. Yeah.
Do you set up that like for the races? Do you set up like a plan to build up for the races?
Yeah. So I follow. I do my own programming for my own running, cool. Like I do for my runners. So I set a structured plan for myself to follow, building up into the races, building up your kilometres or building up your time on legs, especially for the big races.
Yeah, good. Nice. What stands out for you as like a highlight race?
Probably my favourite race would be Ultra Trail Australia in the Blue Mountains.
And that's an Ultra Trail, so
100k.
100k.
100k. So I've done that 3 times.
Yeah. How's that on the body? So
it's tough on the body. You got to condition. Like the first time I remember running it and saying I don't know if I'll do that again. I reckon it was probably 2 days later, and I was like, yep, 100% doing that again. Even this year, I said, nah, not doing the 100k again because I had a pretty tough time. Still ran a good run, but mentally had a tough day, and I've still got unfinished business with it, hence why I'm coming back. So I want to get a bit of a faster time. So I was happy with my time this year, but it wasn't quite the time that I wanted. So I want to head back and give it another crack. Hopefully get there in a good mental state and 100% fit.
Yeah, sick. Nice. So can you provide like an outline of how you recover and how long it takes you to get back into full training?
After a 100k run, I would generally have probably a week and a half, 2 weeks really, really easy after. So still doing light running, but not doing anything really over 1 hour for a run. So for me, for some people, 1 hour is a long run. For someone like myself, an hour is fairly easy to do. So I generally wouldn't go much over an hour for a week to 2 weeks afterwards. So just really light and easy. Normally a couple of days completely off. Just spending time on the foam roller, a little bit of stretching, maybe some massage, stuff like that, just to help the body recover. Yeah,
nice. And you have like you've got a good body clock, but like most runners you see have the watches and stuff, and you've got a watch as well. How much does that come into play for your running and stuff like that?
You use it more as a guide. Once you get used to, like you say, a lot of people running along and they're constantly looking at their watches. We try to get our runners at the running movement to start to learn about how they're feeling when they're running.
Yeah, totally.
And to learn the feel of, yes, I am running at this pace, or my heart rate is around this area. So it's more, for me, my watch is more of looking at the stats and just tracking my training load. rather than like looking at it all the time to make sure that I'm hitting that exact pace that you should be hitting. So it's a tool. It's not something to live by.
Yeah, man. So, what are the key workouts that you swear by? So, you do a lot of workouts, and we see you at Reborn just cutting sick doing different things. So, what do you reckon? What are your key workouts that you swear by?
Well, key workouts, obviously, like even for runners, you need to have your weight sessions in there. Lift a bit of weights because you need strong muscles. Weights help, obviously, strengthening your bones as well because you're putting them under a different load to what you're doing running. Without putting the stresses through the bones that you get when you run.
So injury prevention.
Like an injury prevention type of thing. Got to do stability work because stability first, strength comes second. So I focus a lot on doing some stability drills and some stability exercises.
How many core stability workouts do you reckon you do per week on average?
I do at least one a week, but then a lot of the other workouts, I do a lot of free weights, so I don't do much machine weights or anything. So you're always engaging your core when you're working out, when you're using those free weights. 100%. If you're doing it with proper form. So and then I bring my Zuu into it, which the Zuu, you're fully engaged all the time using all different muscle groups at the same time through all different ranges of motion. So
nice.
Like, I swear by my Zuu workouts. I think that as a mentally tough workout, but as a physically tough workout as well, they're sort of second to none to any other training that I've done.
Yeah, nice. So with that mental toughness stuff as well, where do you reckon you built that from? Because I know that you started training a long time ago. How long have you been running actually? And then we'll go into that mental toughness side.
Probably about 5 years ago I got back into running. Sort of just started running because I had got overweight after giving up football and sort of giving up my team sports, and you sort of continue to live the same lifestyle, eat the same foods when you're very active, and yet you're in a fairly sedentary job. And you continue to eat the same way you used to. It's very easy to put on weight, and I was a little bit overweight and started training again. And
what were you doing, like work-wise, at that time?
Well, at that time I was an electrician, so I was moving around at work. But obviously, you don't burn as much as what you think you do. You don't burn as much energy as you think you do just walking around. You think, I've got an active job, I can still eat what I used 100%. To when I was playing football and stuff like that, but you can't. And so then I started running as part of my training. I got back into the gym with my brother and whatnot. And started doing some running, and I ran as a kid and was quite good at running as a kid, and the running bug just hit me again, so it just took off, and I kept running, and then started entering a few different races here and there.
How good.
Just to challenge myself.
And you said that you played footy as a kid too? So take us back, let's throw a curveball, let's go back then. Who did you play footy for, and like how long did you play for?
Well, I'm
a bit of a footy head myself.
I started playing rugby league for Miranda Magpies when I was 9. And I played there till the under 11s, and after that there was the team sort of separated down there due to different reasons, and I ended up going to my dad's childhood team where he was graded to Cronulla Sharks from, so I went down to Como and then played out the rest of my footy down at the Mighty Mo.
Mighty Mo, getting snappy.
That's it.
How would it feel by living in Mark's shadow down at Como?
Mark was a good football player. Everyone knows he made grade and played Super League.
Can't run like you, but
each to their own. He was a great footballer. I enjoyed playing football. Good pastime. Make good mates.
100%.
Good camaraderie. Nothing like playing a little bit of team sport. So,
totally.
But
who's been your biggest inspiration over your years of training and getting into it?
Mark was always a fairly big inspiration. He had to train really hard to get where he wanted to get. Being a small guy and everything originally. If you look at him back in the old days of football, he was always the smallest guy on the field and stuff like that. And he trained really hard to get where he was. And so yeah, he was always an inspiration in my training and when I got back into training. And then now I look at obviously different ultra runners and whatnot that are a bit of an inspiration to me for my running that I look at. Like there's a few Australian guys like Brendan Davies and Andrew Tuckey who are really good ultra runners and have done big things ultra wise. So
yeah, nice. Good on you, Mark, the Welsh International.
The Welsh International.
No, that's really cool, man. So, and around that, do you have any tips for like to stay motivated? Like, what advice do you have for other runners that are in a rut? Because I know that you actually have each week. There's not a day go by where I haven't seen you, training or getting your heart rate monitor out and prepping yourself up, ready to do the next workout. So it must, not for you, be hard, but some people do get into a rut.
Yeah.
But do you ever have those times where you feel like, it's hard to get motivated?
There's always times where you're feeling a bit tired and sometimes you're demotivated and stuff like that. But with runners, everyone talks about the runner's high and stuff like that. You get that sort of high after you do a race or... so we generally try and get our runners that once they've finished a race, couple of days later to a week later, we sort of get them to try and start thinking about their next goal. It doesn't have to be a race. It can be something big, something small. Like they might want to just do a 1K time trial in a certain time. So it's always good to have some goal to aim towards, no matter big, small. So whether that's to lose a little bit more weight or just get that little bit more faster. We're very big on, I run for the enjoyment of it. I find it as a mental outlet for me. It's sort of my time where I get to think and just it's like meditation. So, totally. For me, so that's why I don't find it hard to get motivated. I don't necessarily need a race to be training for to get out and run, where some people do need that sort of external motivation to get them running. So whether that's to beat one of their training partners over a certain distance or so we get them to set those goals.
That's awesome. So is there any major future goals for yourself? Goals for the future? Well,
at the moment just aiming at getting a good time at UTA 100 this year, so that's or next year, sorry. So that's my main.
Is that the one you've done before?
That's 3 times, so that's my main goal next year. And then hopefully probably 2019 I'll be looking at hopefully stepping up to the 100 mile, which I was going to do this year, but due to an injury, wasn't able to.
What injury was that?
Had an Achilles flare up after Gold Coast Marathon, so had about 8 weeks sort of really reduced load, and even a couple of weeks where I was completely off running, to try and let it settle down. So it wasn't a tendonitis issue, but it was close. So management of that injury, not going to tendonitis was very important. Because that can take months to get over.
So you reckon you've looked after that pretty good? Like you've
I can overcome that up in 8 weeks. So I'm back to a full load of training now without any pain or any issues around the Achilles. So.
Nice. What sort of training did you do in that time?
In the time off, I spent to keep my cardio sort of conditioning up. I kept up my Zuu because it's really good for cardio as well as the anaerobic system. But then I also
so that didn't put any stress on your Achilles.
No, I did movements that wouldn't put stress on the Achilles. So I removed some of the Zuu movements that put a lot of stretch down through your calf and stuff like that.
Awesome.
But other than that, I got on the bike, got on the rower, got on the ski, and done a lot of cardio work in the gym to keep that fitness up.
No matter what it is, any adversity you can.
That's it, 100%. There's always a way to cross train if you can't do what you need to do at that time because of an injury.
Man, awesome. And we were talking about Zuu just then. So other interests, obviously, would be Zuu. So what is Zuu?
It's a body weight workout which works through primal movement patterns created by an Australian called Nathan Hellberg, who originally hailed from the Gold Coast. he's over in the US now, sort of, as he says, spreading the truth of Zuu and movement, because the way that it's sold is obviously movement precedes any sort of equipment. So if you can move well, then you got to be able to lift better. So Zuu sort of complements any other sort of training that you want to do. Whether, like, I wouldn't say that you just have to do Zuu and that's it, and neither does Nate, who created Zuu. He's implemented weights into it now with Iron Zuu, and he's just released a new program up on the Gold Coast called Zuu Certified, which is integrating like a boxing methodology with Zuu at the same time. So he doesn't push it as the only training method. It's a method of training that's going to complement any other sort of training, because you can use it in sport-specific situations to get that conditioning that you need for different sports.
Yeah, man.
So,
and I see that you've implemented the anchor as well. That's the big talk.
So anchor, that just makes it even harder. But again, I throw in a bit of gym work with it, so weights and stuff like that. So using your normal training modalities, throwing dumbbells or kettlebells around.
It's really
just makes the training a little bit harder and a little bit different.
Yeah, no, I really love it. So you put me through a workout the other day, because I'm not 100% used to it, but I fully can feel the benefits out of it for your joints and everything like that. And there was one thing you were telling me a couple of weeks ago about spit phase.
Yeah.
And I reckon in that little bit of moment where I was just like, I was spit phase and I was on my hands and knees dribbling and I couldn't control it, but at the same time it was kind of euphoric. I was like, it felt awesome, you know, like it was just unbelievable, that feeling.
And that's where I find I get a lot of my mental toughness from, is in some of the Zuu workouts that I sort of set for myself. You're just out on your feet, and the idea is just to keep moving. It doesn't matter how fast or how slow, as long as you keep doing the movement and doing the movement correctly. It doesn't matter how fast you move. If you only get 2 or 3 out in the time period that you've got to do it, then that's fine.
It's that little bit of, and it's not really rest. I mean, you're talking about it today, you know, you're splitting it. It's unbelievable, man. It's tough.
It's very good for it's very good workout to do in an interval based type of workout to work that anaerobic and aerobic system.
So what got you onto that? So how did you get into Zuu?
So a friend of mine that I used to work with at another running company prior to the running movement was talking about Zuu, and I seen a lot of his videos. So he's a personal trainer up on the up in Newcastle, and I saw a lot of his videos of this Zuu that he was doing, and I looked into it and I was like, wow, that looks like a really good workout. So I started looking into it and went and did the Zuu course and done like unreal day, and then moving on from that, you can become a Zuu affiliate, so you can use their name and logos and stuff like that and call your class as Zuu.
Awesome.
And after that it was just like, that's sort of what I want to do. And I found so much benefit from it in my running, because I found that my hips loosened up and all of that sort of stuff. So, and when you look at a lot of sports, everything revolves around your hips. So if you're loose and strong through your hips, then it's going to translate into your respective sport, whether that be rugby league, boxing, even golf, tennis, everything rolls through your hips.
100%.
So.
It's so true. I was thinking that the other day, actually, how beneficial this would be for, you know, fighters and like MMA fighters and stuff like that. It was, and that's funny how you said that he, what's his name again? Nathan. He's implementing like a boxing Zuu. Like, it just makes so much sense.
100%.
And what I was going to say as well, so you with the running movement, that you also do classes through Reborn Fitness. And what sort of classes do you guys do here for runners and stuff, or people who are wanting to run? So
we do a class called Core Runner out of Reborn Fitness. We also run it out of another gym over at Padstow on a Saturday morning. But so what it is it's a dynamic core based workout with legs involved as well. So obviously, because you need strong legs as a runner, but as a runner you need a really strong core, and I'm not just talking abdominals and your transverse abdominals. Like, I look at your core pretty much from your knees to your shoulders. So runners need a nice strong posture when they're running, so they need a strong back. We don't lift any weights in it, because a lot of runners Or a lot of typical runners originally think, no, gym work, I just need to run to be a good runner. And it's easier to get them in doing body weight sort of stuff. So we use a lot of resistance bands, Swiss balls, Bosu balls, where we integrate a little bit of back work, a little bit of upper body strength when we're on the TRX, because they're holding themselves up in a plank or a push-up position, doing the pikes and stuff like that. But a lot of the movements that we do, we get them doing it through the running gait, so through their running range of motion, so to try and strengthen and stabilise them through that gait.
Sure. And you said that you're a Zuu affiliate.
Yeah.
Do you do any classes of Zuu or?
Yeah. So we run a Zuu class down here at Reborn Fitness on a Saturday morning, 5:45.
Yeah, nice.
Which is obviously free to Reborn members. It's on the timetable down here, but anyone external that wants to come and give Zuu a go, it's only $10, so it's fairly cheap for a group class.
Yeah, awesome.
And like a lot of the boys have just tried Zuu here last week, and they reckon it's the best thing since sliced bread, and want more of it.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Which, as I said, I'm not sure where I'm going to fit it in. I'm happy to try and fit it in, but
good.
But as I said to a few of the boys, obviously I've got 2 anchors, so if they want to partner up with each other, I can do sessions like 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 with the anchor, or even like do small groups of Zuu on my own with them as a small group personal training session.
So you do personal training as well?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So you do that through here as well?
Yeah, so I run my personal training business out of Reborn.
Where can anyone contact you through your personal training business or your running movement and Zuu? Far out, there's some stuff going on, man.
There's some stuff going on.
What do you want? Where do I hit you first?
Yeah, all of the running movement stuff just comes through the runningmovement.com.
Yeah.
So anything regarding running movement's all on our website. Easy to contact both myself and Damon through there. And then my personal training business is called Dynamic Fitness Coaching. So I do have a website, dynamicfitnesscoaching.com.au, where there's information about Zuu and my personal training services on there.
Perfect. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. Awesome, man. I think a lot of people out there are really going to enjoy this, and it just opens up everyone's minds to not just one specific training. Like you don't have to stay at one. Like you can run and you can do Zuu and you can add a bit of weights in, and it's going to make 100%. You the most elite athlete, or just as human being, like to be able to try different things and break down those mental barriers. And I think it helps with everyday life, you know, like from being productive. You know, even doing that, I see that when you train in the morning, you're not just going home and chilling. You're more energetic after you do that sort of stuff. You might be buggered for the first 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
Oh, you're tired after the workout.
But then you feel like you're newborn. You're just like you're feeling really good. So, I really enjoyed it, man, and I hope everyone else does.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Spanner.
Easy. How good.
Nice.
Perfect.